So it has been requested, because it has been a few weeks, that I do a quick summary of where we've been and what we're doing. So I will attempt to do so with some brevity and fill everybody in. It has been 3 weeks since we've gathered together, but it's only been a single evening in the world of Middle-earth. Our fellowship, all of them, in fact, though Ange is not here, her character will still be played and represented by Tony this evening. But our fellowship has traveled from Combi to Archit. Initially, they did a lot of good around Combi. A threat was thwarted. Several of the people around Combi had complained that they feared a troll had been preying on their livestock. It was found not to be a troll, but in fact a scouting party of goblins that the Fellowship bravely confronted as they came for yet another meal of mutton, and drove them away and back into their hole, where they pursued them and ended the threat. After that, there was they met a new person, Shadon, the traveling elf heading into the Breeland area from Rivendell with a missive and some information for Oswald Breaker. And they went to encounter Breaker at his family manor that had been ruined some years before, many years before, decades in this case. And they found Breaker, but they also discovered that there was a sense of darkness around the manor, and so they delved a little bit deeper. Hamson, our stalwart hobbit, actually stumbled upon an open grave that should not be open, and it felt that something had been taken, that the appropriate accoutrement of the remains did not seem to fit the setting, and so he let everyone else know. They did some clearance in an overgrown manor and found a way deeper, and traveled downward to discover what might have come up from below. All except for Traston, who harbored, unfortunately, a not unreasonable fear of the large spiders that are known in Mirkwood and in other places. So he remained up in the ruins of the manor in the light of the fading day, as the rest of the Fellowship delved deep underneath the ruined manor, and in fact did encounter several spiders that they exterminated before the entrance or exit, as it were, out into the Midgewater marshes.
Remind me what particular way they were exterminated in. I believe there's a new term.
With skill, with finesse, with hobbit genius, bravery, which was lacking by some of our party.
And through their bum sacks.
Oh yes, well that wasn't how that was called. That was Angie. Yeah.
And she just popped in chat, so you are just in time for that, Ange.
Right. Raniel is well known and much loved for having pierced the bum sack of the final spider in the confrontation beneath the manor, and pinning it in place, where with its dying breath, its screechy, clicking voice warned that she is coming. They return to the surface, and their friend Traston, who had himself just had a strange encounter with a spirit. Ostensibly, we believe the spirit of the remains that were found open. And she complained of something having been taken from her, a ring, in fact, amongst other things. At that point, our fellowship took a bit of a rest. Some research was done in Oswald Brinker's library by Shadon and Araniel and Narniel. Believe Master Hampson did some work around the cottage and made it more of a home as the fellowship decided to actually purchase the cottage from Oswald Breaker, who owns most of the land in Combi. And Traston took a short, well, possibly a few short day trips, because they did rest for about a week, to Bree, where he put out his own feelers as the, what's the word I'm looking for? Traveling person who brings tidings. Messenger. As the messenger he is, put out some of his queries and found some information as well. And there was a lot of information found over that fellowship phase. First of all, it was discovered that, or a rumor was heard, that a group of bandits or grave robbers have been working out of the Chetwood, possibly in conjunction with some spiders. There's some connection there. We're not quite sure exactly what it is. There was also some information gained about the Rangers that had been meeting with Breaker when the Fellowship initially arrived in Combi, and what they were dealing with. And apparently there is a group of missing Rangers to the north, quite some journey to the north, on Lake Evandim, that have gone missing, exploring ruins that they believe to be among islands in the misty, enshrouded lake of Evandim up by Anuminus, which is where our Rangers of the North are from. Araniel and Narniel generally came from there, originally rather. And then it was also discovered that the ring that was taken from the lady's grave was given to Oswald Breaker's family by what we suspect is an ancient line of men. And he was given, essentially, his family, not him personally, but many, many years ago, his family was given the land in trust, and the ring represents that. And Shadon, in his studies, found the ring to be known as Imorehan o Irunda, shortened to Morehan or Darkheart, which was a ring actually first crafted by an apprentice of Celebrimbor, an elf of ancient Linden. So they discovered a lot. But it was decided by the Fellowship that they would head deeper into the Chetwood and to Archit to try to track down these grave robbers, in the hopes that perhaps they were the ones who took the ring from the lady. I think, I'm not sure, I'll let them speak to this, but I think maybe the Fellowship believes that the ring needs to be returned either to Breaker or to the lady and to the land where it belongs. So
that's what
hopefully that informs everyone. Yes, that is in fact what the spirit of the lady told Traston in their encounter. Well, she said she wants it. It must be returned to her. She seemed very, very possessive of it. So I will give it over to all of you. You are in Archit. It's morning on the 18th of Thrimage. You have been put up for the night by the people of Archit in some very comfortable rooms in the main hall. And there is a breakfast laid out on the table, kind of smorgasbord or buffet style, when you come down from the upper floors of the main hall. And you see Fitch sitting on his, I won't call it a throne, but it is a large chair, and it's in front, kind of at the head of the hall where everyone would see him and his family. So he's kind of sitting there taking his morning breakfast as well. And I will give it over to you.
So what were we going to do again? I'm confused by all these things that, yeah.
Words.
Breakfast. Oh, that looks okay, doesn't it?
Yes, you're definitely going to need a full stomach, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, here, have some lemon bread.
I did miss an important detail. I forgot to mention what, in fact, you were doing. It was decided by the ostensible leader of the party, which is Iraniel, who sadly is not with us, that you would be going to look at the Archet lumber mill, which has been taken by some force.
Yes.
You suspect it might be the grave robbers, or might be someone who knows more about the grave robbers. So that was
maybe a troll.
Your intention. Maybe a troll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a rabid sheep.
Yes.
Yeah, we also agreed to do something about a troll, but we're going to do that after, I think, weren't we?
Yeah, so Fitch Talltree's father was murdered by a troll about a decade ago. And he is still very upset about it. And from what his wife told you, he kind of doubts himself and his leadership abilities because he was not able to protect his father or deal with the troll afterwards.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going to head out to the lumber mill.
Good morning. Good morning, Fitch. How are you today? What wonderful accommodations last night. Thank you so much for hosting us.
Oh, of course. We would extend the same to any group of free peoples passing.
Any word on any word on the horses that we left in the cave? Have your watchman noted any strange noises in the evening, or?
Well, I've heard nothing from Samson, who was on evening watch when you all arrived, nor from the day watch.
Excellent.
Jim informed me this morning that the horses were, the horse and the pony were doing quite well.
Excellent. That's good tidings. We appreciate that. We're going to be heading out to the lumber mill today. We're not resting easy with the fact that there are possibly bandits there. I mean, we're very happy for the lifestyle that you choose to live. We would prefer that it not be imposed upon you.
Well, as I said last night, I appreciate that. I mean, we would certainly make use of the mill had we access to it again. I can tell you that the mill is not hard to find. It's not even an hour's casual walk from here. There's a quite well laid out trail that leads from the ruins of the old village that we continued to use even as we moved into the trees.
And just speaking about that, would you be able to spare any of your hunters who know the area well? They might be able to, help us just watch out for signs of trouble. They probably move a little differently in this area than we would being new people to it.
Well, he seems... At this point, he seems as if he doesn't want to offend. But he says, Yes, I understand. The problem is my night watch are all sleeping at this point, and the hunters have all left to do their work this morning. If you wanted to wait until the evening, I might be able to entice someone to go with you.
Oh, no, not necessary. Then the only thing is there a way that we can identify ourselves as friends to your hunters, or in case we encounter them. We wouldn't want to be mistaken ourselves for, enemies.
Yes. That's a very good thing to mention, Master Elf. I could teach you one of our calls.
Is it a bird call?
It is, in fact, Master Hobbit.
That sounds delightful.
Calls?
I've never studied bird calls before.
He
capture a bird for your food.
He makes a sound that I'm not going to try to attempt. Sorry to disappoint.
Something like that.
But he makes a sound that anyone with hunting would be able to recognize as a very, very good, not perfect, but a very good mimic of a finch. And he says that is the call that they use to call and respond to each other in the woods to recognize each other as friends.
Ah, excellent. If we hear that sound, we'll be sure to answer back.
Yes, it shouldn't be hard to do. Any of you who have any skill with language should be able to do it. It seems like Traston is attempting to right now.
Yeah, I know I can do it.
I'll be honest, I don't know what a finch sounds like, but you know.
No,
it's sad that I just googled it.
Which is good, because that would be Scone would be actually imitating a Dutch finch. So.
Oh, right.
Well,
not
they are called finches here, so.
Wow.
The dreaded
high
finch, which is much larger and aggressive than the finch in Arda or Middle Earth,
or the Eastern European finch, of course.
The Eastern European finch. It does really heavily depend on how laden it is at the time, though.
Yes.
Is my understanding. Anyway.
We call them a vink.
You call them finks?
A vink. Yeah.
Oh, a vink. Gotcha. Okay, interesting. So, yeah, he for any who wants to try to accurately, or at least good enough to be recognized, to be able to make this call, he does it several times and actually seems to be having, kind of a good time, just telling you how to do it. No, you have to purse your lips just like this, and you have to hold your hands in this way.
Hanson's constantly doing it once he's got it.
What would that be? I kind of want to say that song.
I think song works. I think song works.
Yeah. Oh.
So, yeah, depending upon how good your song skill is, you're better at it than others. Depending, I imagine that Shadon probably has the best song skill.
Song skill, yes, but it's
I have song
it's
skill.
a far cry from a good hunter's call.
So yeah, it's
song skill. So
he's quite amused when Hampson gets it, at least moderately passable, and then just keeps doing it.
I have a good song skill as well, thank you.
Oh, do you? Okay.
I have 2 pips in song.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you have at least 2 pips in song, you do it well enough to be recognized, and also to recognize the slight differences between a natural finch and the call that the Archit folk use. So you should be able to identify them while you're out there.
Yeah, I have.
And you have nothing, so you're not good at it at all.
Neither does Erennial, so we're both just sat there going.
So.
Oh, it's like this, not like that. Suck your tongue in a little bit, and it works. No, no! Don't put your tongue on your nose. That doesn't work. Erennial, come on.
Fitch kind of leans over to Shadon and Traston and says, "Perhaps the 2 of you or the Hobbit should make the calls."
yeah,
I believe that would be wise.
I would have think Rangers of the North might know bird calls, but apparently they're not that good at it.
We know different calls I'll just end up, and Nani will just end up going caca at the end. It's like, that's it.
Well, that doesn't sound right, but it was better than Arniel's.
I don't know any bird that makes that sound.
Well, you don't know your birds, do you?
I've been practicing spider calls as well.
That's amazing.
Oh,
Please don't use those.
What would that even sound like?
low blow. That's what it sounds like. Oh.
Another knife to the gut.
Okay.
Well,
So you practice some calls. You've got the call down, or at least a few of you do. Food is offered, right? As much as you want, because you will be doing essentially work for Archit, so nobody's taking any notice of how much of the food you take.
Plate here, plate there, plate here.
Hey, they got a nice bottle of wine last night.
Right? Yeah, that's true. That's true. You did do some trade. Fitch asks, aside from, sadly, I don't have any men that can accompany you, but is there anything else I can provide you with? I myself was preparing to go out on a hunt, or I would accompany you myself, but I have responsibilities.
Oh, we'll be fine. It's okay. We have everything here. We can take a little bit for extra food. That will be, yes.
If the hunters, as they return, could be, diverted through the lumber mill on the way back, that might be helpful, just in case things don't go as planned.
So generally they return, as we did yesterday, right around sunset. So if you've not returned by then, I can certainly task a small force to... Force is a strong word. I can certainly task a few men to come station themselves within observation distance of the mill, if you would like me to.
Thank you.
Certainly.
He's given us like full instructions of how to get there the best way. So would we be going on the ground or through the actual village up top?
Oh no, you'd be going through the ground. So the village is impressive, but it's still, like I said, at least an hour's casual walk from here. So it's just a village. It's not a city. So
okay.
Yeah, you'll be heading down to the ground and traveling towards the. It's not a creek, but it's also not a river. Stream. Stream is a good word. There is a stream not far from here that the mill is actually built next to, because with the assistance of some of the engineers of Bree and also a couple of dwarves that were willing to help, they actually set up a functioning, like it is literally a sawmill. It was designed to saw the felled trees into lumber that can be used here and in Combi and Staddle and Bree. So it has a great water wheel that the stream powers the saw with.
Okay. So I think it may be best to head out as soon as we can. Whenever you're ready. It's like looking at the plates in front of Hamson.
Oh, it won't take me long to polish this off. Then I've just got to go and pack a picnic for us.
Okay.
We need to have second breakfast and 11sies and lunch ready.
It's true.
If
you'll excuse me, I have to be leaving as well.
Yeah, I only need to know that for you, Aranio, and me, and Traston will only want his lambus bread.
So
And Shadon, of course.
I'm gonna let everybody make an awareness check. Even Hamson, because Hamson knows how much he talks, and he's not oblivious when he's talking. He just talks a lot. So everybody make an awareness check for me.
First roll, extraordinary success.
Oh, wow.
Success.
A failure.
It wouldn't be a one ring game without some failures, right?
If this,
that second one was a Renial.
Yeah.
It's just showing
Okay.
up as in my name.
This tells me my dice rolls for today's session. It's gonna go good.
Well, maybe you're just getting all the bad ones out of the way now.
Sure.
So we got... Oh, gosh, no, you got extraordinary success with Hamson.
I did.
The
And
only
Narniel
one.
got a great success. Narniel got a great success. So the two of you notice, as Hamson is going on about preparing the food, you do still notice, and Narniel, of course, notices, that the things that you see Fitch gathering are not... They're not what you would take on a normal hunt, if that makes sense. So he picks up a fairly hefty bag that you would imagine probably has, in addition to like a sleeping skin of some kind and you know, probably some camp supplies. It looks like it's full, so probably has several weeks worth of provisions in it. He shoulders his bow or slings it across his body, but he also picks up a large spear and a shield, which he did not have with him yesterday when he came back from the hunt. And he did mention that he has responsibilities, but that his hunters had already all left for the day. But they all returned together last evening. So make of all that what you will. But Fitch shoulders his burdens and leaves the hall, and leaves the five of you to proceed as you will.
That was some weird equipment for hunting.
You think so? Then why don't you ask him where he's going? I mean,
Gun. Are we assuming that Narniel and Hamson have told all of you what they just saw? Because the rest of you were listening to Hamson.
right? I'm just responding.
Hamson
what-
probably doesn't say anything
Okay.
because it's not that interesting, really. You know, carrying a spear, fine. He's going out into the wilderness to protect himself. What harm is there?
I think Narniel just turned to Shade Dawn. It's like just he said he was just going hunting, didn't he? Because it was Shade Dawn that asked the question, or he spoke to primarily.
I said his hunters already left for the day, so I'm not sure where he's off to on his own. Odd that he'd be bringing accoutrements of war.
And
That's what I
speaking
was
of that,
thinking.
as you watch him leave, you do actually notice that he's not just wearing hunting leathers, he's got a coat of mail on underneath his cloak. And that's not something you normally wear when you go hunting. For sure. Anybody with a hunting skill knows that. Hamson probably knows that. He's wearing pretty heavy armor.
I wonder. This is out loud to everyone. I wonder if he's going to visit that troll because it was. We mentioned it last night. He might feel ashamed that other people might be doing it for him. He seems like he could be a proud man.
And I don't want to get in the way of that pride, but he's too important to this collective up here in the trees. I think we should follow him.
Oh, you got that all from him just wearing a spear and carrying a spear in heavy armor? Wow, I'm impressed.
The armor when going on hunting. Is he hunting a dragon?
You don't know what he's hunting.
But
It could be a giant wild boar.
the last dragon was only was still a few years ago.
By a wild boar. Think of the bacon.
Is his wife?
It was a boar spear he was carrying.
Oh,
So it had the cross guard at the top, if you know what a boar spear is.
oh,
It's
yeah.
a very, very large spear.
If he's going after bacon, we should definitely go. Bacon and eggs for breakfast. Oh. You just get the eggs, a little bit of milk, a little bit of butter, and
I love that Hamson doesn't care that he looks like he's going to war, but when Hamson talks himself into thinking he's going after bacon, now Hamson's in. Like, he might get some bacon, I'm there.
Bacon. Oh. Don't you think we should go then if there's a chance of bacon?
So, Tony, what were you going to say?
Is his wife still around?
I mean, you probably find her.
Yeah. I think I want to find her.
You saw last night where his house is, essentially. It's nearby.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just say to this, while you guys pack up, I'm just gonna go speak to his missus.
Yeah, find out if it's an anniversary of his father's death, maybe, or something. I mean, today he's doing something special for a reason, and it looks
That's what I'm thinking.
different than the
He's going to get bacon for his anniversary. You're right, that's it.
Not everything's about food, Master Halfling.
So,
Well, the spear, the boar spear,
Exactly. There must be a giant boar around here. Oh.
He might kill that troll by himself.
Why would he want to do that when he's going to go after a boar? Why go and see a troll if you're going to go and get bacon? Come on.
Yeah, he could probably
Bacon is
use our
life.
help. I think you're right. I think, having the
Yes,
horses
definitely.
there
Yes.
help drag the carcass behind.
Exactly.
If we want to take the carcass along of a
we owe him that much.
Boar, not troll.
Hamson,
We troll. I mean, if elves eat weird trolls, that's entirely up to you. Is that what you make lambus spread out of? Oh, weird.
Hamson, could you please don't speak for about 5 minutes?
No, I'd never do that.
Yeah.
I have so much to
No,
say.
that's the problem.
I'll meet you. I'll meet you at the ladders.
all right. So, Tony, you find Lissa, and she is, going about her day. She's doesn't seem flustered when I assume you knock on her door. But, she's wearing a smock, and you can see Richard in the background sitting at the kitchen table, eating some breakfast.
Good morning. I just wondered if I could ask you something about, Finch.
Oh, yes, by all means. Please come in.
Thank you. It's just... I'll try and be a little bit quieter so, the kid doesn't hear you.
Okay.
I don't know how well that's going to work out, if it's a small room or whatever, but it's just an attempt at being a little bit discreet. He is just left for hunting, yes?
Is that what he told you?
Yeah, but I noticed his apparel was very different than you would expect.
He is going on one of his hunting trips. He does this every year. He disappears for a few days. It's nothing to worry about. He always comes back.
Okay, so it's not just... I was just mindful of what was mentioned last night, and...
I don't know for sure. I don't press him, but I have assumed that when he leaves, he probably goes to try to find this troll, if it even is still alive. but he always comes back in a few days, usually with some large thing that he's killed. Once it was a warg, another time it was a great big moose. That one fed us for weeks.
Oh, I can imagine.
He brought a quite large boar back once.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure whether or not it might be worth us going with him.
He knows what he's doing. And you know, if he did run into that old troll, that thing's 10 years older now. If it's still alive, he can probably take it.
Trolls are tough creatures.
You have a great lot of faith in him.
Well, he's led us well here, I think, since his father passed. He doesn't seem to think so, but
no, this place is amazing. But yeah, we just wanted to be sure he wasn't doing anything silly and didn't need assistance, as we're traveling out to the lumber mill. So
be careful at the mill. We don't know what's there.
I know, we will be. We know what we're doing.
She says, "Oh, you know what? Hold on a second." And she goes over to a cupboard and rummages around a little bit. And when she comes back, she hands you a small pouch. She says, if you do manage to take the mill, just start like a small bonfire, and throw this powder in it. It will send up a specific color of smoke. It'll let us know that you've taken the mill, and we can send folk out to clean up. And this time, probably, I'll tell them to put sentries in place to protect it a little bit better.
Yes. No, thank you. Yes. And then I'll just step to leave and just like, well, thank you for your time.
Yes, by all means.
I guess we'll be seeing you soon. And I'll head out to the ladder.
Okay. So, what are the three of you doing while Narniel and Araniel go to visit?
Well, you can make it into bacon. You can also cut a joint and have a gammon. You can boil that. You can roast it. You can serve it with anything. And then there's the crackling. If you get the skin just right, the crackling is just wonderful. Some roast taties and some gravy, some carrots and some parsnip. Oh, it just sends a shiver down my throat. Oh, this is second breakfast time, yeah. I'm just going to go and get myself another plate. I'll be right back.
Tristan, you were kind of talking to yourself there for a second. You were mumbling yourself something about trolls. What is it that you know of trolls?
Well, I did encounter some trolls during my travels. And they are tough, even when they're older.
And how did you handle those situations then?
Well, we were with a group when we found trolls.
Are you going to be okay encountering trolls again?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We're here to help. Just want to make sure.
I only have a problem with spiders.
What? I didn't know you had an issue with spiders, and I was just asking, we're here to help. I just want to make sure you're going to be okay.
About trolls.
They probably have an issue with him too. This bread is delightful. It's not Lambus bread, but it's good.
Where are those rangers?
No, but it's It's got just like some berries in it. You're not sure what kind of berries they are. They might be local.
They could do though a nice cinnamon bread. That would be delightful. A nice thing for an 11th snack.
Finch is going to be so far ahead at this point. Where are those rangers?
I'm sure we've got an expert tracker in you, Shadon, to track him down.
Oh, no, I fear you probably are the better tracker than I. I travel the open roads mostly.
Oh. Yeah, I can track. Of course, I am the great hobbit tracker and chef.
Yes.
And I'm a bit sneaky at times, you know. I can get into places that,
And murderer of spiders.
Slayer of spiders!
So, are you guys just hanging out in the main hall waiting for Araniel and Narniel to come back?
She said by the stairs.
Oh, yeah, that's
By the ladder.
Would you like to help me finish this off before you go? I have a cake. It's a lovely cupcake there. It's delightful. It's got raisins in it.
You
tastes soft and succulent and lovely.
You have fed me so much for breakfast already. I couldn't. I won't.
I'll take it then.
I won't have room for second breakfast.
What about Daisy?
There's always room for second breakfast.
Yes.
Oh, Daisy's gonna have carrots. I got some honey roasted carrots from last night. Oh, they're gonna go down a treat. I'm not giving any to your horse, of course.
Well,
I know you would
probably
appreciate
not.
that, would you?
My horse. It looks like
Oh no, she likes honey. She likes honey coated carrots.
For some odd reason, Seuss has been putting on weight lately, and I'm trying to watch.
It's only been a few. Well, no, I guess it's been a week.
Well, you do need to ride her hard and fast. Yes, you've not been doing that.
No, I have not.
That does bring up a good question, though. Are you going to try to get the mounts to take to the mill, or are you just going to go to the mill? Or are you going to go after...
Yeah, I thought we were going after Fitch at this point.
Well...
If we were going to...
We'll see what you decide.
Or maybe not. We'll see what Araniel has to say. And
So Araniel and Narniel show up at the ladder, the main entrance to town, as it were. Probably at about the same time the three of you do, since Hamson was finishing up his breakfast.
Of course.
What does Fitch's wife say?
Well, first off, before I forget, she's give us this powder thing. When we take the mill, we burn this.
I take that from you and look after it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. She said apparently it gives the smoke a different colour.
Really?
Yes, but we only do it to signal that it's safe to go back there.
Oh,
That's
of
the only time
course,
we use it.
yes.
Don't use it in one of your cooking.
So the only time we can use it is if we empty that place.
Oh, well, we're going to empty that place, aren't we? Yes.
No, I asked her about Finch, and apparently he does this every now and again. When every year he will go off for a few days. Obviously she doesn't know for sure what he's doing, but he always brings back big game.
Oh, so he's definitely hunting boar then, is he? See, I told you it was a giant boar.
She did actually say that he brought one back one year, and he's
Really?
also brought back
We have to go and help him.
He's had a warg, a moose. Apparently they have very quite varied things, but yeah.
Okay.
But yes, Oh, yeah. He always goes off for a couple of days, but he's always come back. She thinks that he might go look for the troll.
Well, it sounds that he's clearly capable, so let's go to the mill then.
Well, yeah, if she's not concerned about him, and the other villagers...
The boar might be dangerous.
I did mention our concerns about what we said yesterday about the troll. And she's just reiterated that she thinks that he might look for it, but even if he did find it, he's always come home by now. So.
I'm conflicted now. We've got the boar hunting, or we've got using this funny powder. I don't know what I want to do first.
What about doing the things we do as a
I love
group?
how
Slay spiders.
priorities.
No,
Oh, sorry, we don't do that as a group, do we?
Set the mill free.
The mill free. Yes, we could do the mill. What was the flour there?
Don't know what
The
kind of mill
sawdust.
it is. Might be a flour mill, might be a water mill.
You know, if we do the mill and then send that powdered smoke up in the fire, maybe Pitch will see it and then come to us to see what that is. And
But surely, if it was a water mill, it would turn the stones to grind the into the flour.
It's a lumber mill.
It's a lumber mill.
Oh, a sawmill.
Yes.
Lumber mill.
Might have some cherry wood there, mightn't they? It's good for smoking meat, you know. A boar, especially. So, are we going to the mill? Are we walking, or are we taking the horses and the ponies? We must feed them first. Make sure they've got all the necessary food. Should I go do that?
How far away is it? Is it like an hour?
It's only about an hour walk. Yeah.
Oh, we can walk then. Get halfway there, stop for second breakfast, get there, we could have 11s easy.
And Fitch told you that the Jim, is that his name? Jim Thatcher? He took care of the mounts this morning. And he said they were doing fine. So you don't need to do that if you don't want to. I mean, if you want to visit them, you can, but you'd have to find Jim to open up. Well, no, that's not true. Hampson saw.
I saw how to open it.
Yeah.
We can see two horses on the way back. Then it'll be an even better treat once it's been a few hours since their breakfast.
Yes, sounds good. Sounds good.
It might be safer not to take the horses because it's a long trek through the forest, and the mounts are not made for traveling through the forest.
Is that because you haven't got a horse?
actually, it's rather an easy one
Yeah, exactly.
walk by the stream. I don't foresee any issues, but if you think
us, yes, but I don't think it's easy for the horses.
Yeah, the way Fitch described it is the trail leads down to the stream, and then you just follow the stream to the mill. The stream is actually the current. From the place where the trail takes you down to the stream, the current would be coming towards you. So, not that you would think of it, but going upstream on a raft or anything wouldn't be any good. But
okay.
So yeah. Is that what you're gonna do then? Head to the mill?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's best for the minute.
Okay.
If we see a boar, though, can we deal with it? Might be dangerous.
I'm sure you're up for a
Might be.
challenge.
No, I am. I've slain spiders, remember?
So,
Yeah, you never.
we're not going to do a travel roll because it's a short walk, really. Depending upon how you go, you can get there, pretty quickly. I mean, if you wanted to jog it, this group could probably get there in under 20 minutes or so, but if you just want to casually stroll, it'll take about an hour. Totally up to you.
I'm not about running. I'm about.
Okay.
What a brisk walk.
Rhino wants to jog, apparently.
She wants to get there and get it over with, huh?
Yeah.
So
I heard it saying once, it says jog on.
So, Fitch gave you a short description of the mill when you were talking about it at breakfast, and basically describes it as, hang on, get to the right page. Yeah, that's not what I want, that's what I want. Couple of things here real quick. We're gonna edit this. everybody can see it. And then I'm gonna push it through.
Ooh.
Everybody see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. So he describes a sawmill. Sorry about the really bad sketch work there. I just wanted to, have something to show you.
Not that
He
bad.
described the mill as being on the stream with the water wheel. The mill itself is kind of a warehouse-like building. There's a first floor where finished lumber and the saw itself connected to the water wheel would be. It has a front door which faces the front gates of the mill itself. The mill has a wooden palisade around it. And that's, this is what it was before. They haven't been around there for a while, so he doesn't really know what state it's going to be in. But yeah, there was a wooden palisade around it up to the stream, so, somebody could go down the embankment and into the mill. Like, it's not super secure, if you take my meaning. But there was an upstairs area accessible by ladder where they kept additional materials. Sometimes people would sleep up there if they were staying overnight at the mill. There's also, he described that they used it for like meals and things like that. It has a small stable that can maintain 4 mounts, and there's also a small workshop to the side of the stable, all within the grounds. A lot of the rest of the ground area, like behind the mill itself, would be kept up with logs and the like. So that's kind of the description that he gave for you.
Okay. I think
And
as we get
you will be approaching the mill from the direction of the front gates if you follow the stream.
All right.
That was the plan, so yeah.
Is it a level stream, or are we going? It is a chance would be higher to try and get an advantage point to look at it, give it a scout first.
So the Chetwood is kind of connected, like it's at the southern end of the Weather Hills, but there are some hills in the Chetwood. It wouldn't take too much work for you to find a vantage point, either with a slight rise or possibly having someone climb a tree to get a better look into the interior if you wanted to once you get close. Yeah. It is important to note as well that the poorly sketched tree trunks there are there for a reason. A decent area around the mill has already been logged out, right?
Yeah.
And they just
a logging mill. No wonder.
Correct. And so they left a lot of that area around it, and they left a lot of the stumps in place, mainly to prevent new growth, because they just wanted to have some space around the mill, also for possible expansion at some point. Fitch told you that when they were working the mill a lot, there would also be a lot of logs in the river itself, because they would go further upstream and log, and then just push the logs into the river and let the river carry it down to the mill.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'll be a good thing. See, just to see what we can see, if anything at all.
Sure.
If you can't find a decent enough vantage point, then yeah, I'll just I'd openly suggest about somebody climbing a tree, because it will not be my first thought to climb a tree.
Sure. So are you planning on approaching largely openly, or are we going to attempt any kind of stealth?
Well, I think that's what I wanted to try and gauge.
I can get to the door and check it out. Don't worry.
I would do stealthy, yeah.
Yeah.
I would go stealthy.
Because if need be, we could enter from the river rather than actually through the the gate
Potentially,
or anything like that. So it's just
maybe approach it from two sides.
And there's plenty of wood all the way around as well. So, like, if you wanted to stick to the woods and skirt the cleared area and approach from behind, or, you know, all of that's possible.
Yeah, I would
Just
go.
gonna let me know how you want to do it.
From the trees and then skirt the open area.
So, do you want, as the tree elf, as it were, do you want to climb a tree once you get close and see if you can see inside?
Are you reading my mind?
Maybe, a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So I'm not going to make you roll to climb a tree. You're well capable of it now.
Are you going to make me roll the stealth?
Not until you start moving out of the trees. I'm not going to make anybody roll for stealth until you start closing in on the mill. Once you hit that cleared area, you're going to have to tell me how you're expecting to stay hidden. Right?
Yeah.
So, but in the trees, some distance away, right, you are looking down, and what you can see inside the mill area, Traston, is the buildings look fine. They do not appear to be damaged in any way, or defaced. I mean, it's not like somebody's gone in there and the place isn't covered in like goblin and orc iconography, is what I'm saying, right? Which, in your experience, they usually do. If it's goblins or orcs, they kind of make the place their own, which is always weird in fantasy literature to me, but, you know, whatever. It works. It's a good way to identify things.
We are a secret organization. That's our logo.
Right, exactly, yeah. You don't see anybody moving about, but you do see a couple of structures that Fitch did not mention. So I don't know if... Yeah, I can't do a marker on the map itself, but near the... We'll say in the right-hand corner by the gate, there is what appears to be a hastily constructed watchtower that is covered and screened. So it's possible there might be someone inside of it. And it is kind of rickety. It's not really good construction like the people of Archit make, but it was clearly made with local lumber. So and it is tall in the palisade.
A hastily made watchtower.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's screened, so you can't see into it. But you assume that there's probably someone inside.
I don't see any life inside the palisades.
Well, there is smoke coming out of the chimneys, both of the mill and the workshop.
Yeah, but no people walking in the...
But there's nobody walking around. Since you're an elf, I would say your eyes also do pick out that the yard area is heavily traveled. So there's a lot of tracks there.
More flattened than maybe other parts.
Correct.
Did everyone go through the tree lines, or did another part go through the water?
Yeah, I was going to go along the water bank.
Okay, so we're going to stop and do a pincer move.
Well, the plan was to find out what was there before.
Right.
That, but yeah.
Was Hamson waiting to...
Oh no, he would have gone as soon as...
Okay.
As soon as he said I can sneak up to the door, I just imagined him toddling off.
Yeah, basically, yes. That is exactly what happened.
Alright, so...
Probably while they were watching where Traston was going and seeing what he was doing, Hamson would have disappeared and gone.
Just gone. So I will need the stealth roll from Hamson then.
Okay. I am favoured with this, I think. It's got the tick on it.
That's good, but let me give you a little bit more description and we'll see how you approach and whether or not that gives you any more bonus dice. So the bank of the river is not sheer. It is sloped, but it is still somewhat steep. There is some greenery along the river, some reeds and tall grasses. And like I said, the palisade really just kind of only heads up to where the bank of the river would then go down to the river. The bank is actually tall enough that as a hobbit, you probably could be below the bank as you approach, particularly if you decide to get into the water, but that's up to you.
Yeah, no, I'll go along through the reeds and using the greenery.
Okay. So I'll give you a single bonus die for that.
Okay, I'm also going to spend a point of hope.
Okay.
So that'll be 2 bonus dice, yes?
Correct.
Great success.
Okay.
Nice.
So yeah, with a great success, you very easily get in there. What was your target goal? Like, where are you trying to get to?
The palisade wall by the water bank.
In the front or the back?
The front.
I mean, you could get further than that. With a great success, you could probably get up to the main mill building.
Fine, in that case, I'll go around and go to the main mill building then if I can get that way.
Yeah. Okay. So, once you get close enough, we'll say once you've passed the palisade, the edge of the palisade, you do smell seared meat.
What meat is it?
Your palate is not able to identify the meat. It smells. So if you had to put a label on it, it smells kind of like boar or pig maybe, but it's kind of gamey, and it doesn't smell quite right.
Kind of sat there with my legs over the bank. I pull out my little notebook and write down. Smells like boar, slightly gamey. Question mark. Kind of look back to my companions. See, they're still looking at where Traston went. We're gonna keep going. Okay. And then I'm going to try and sneak up to the door and kind of look in and see if I can see a window in.
With your size, you could actually fit under the bank and the mill. You'll notice that the mill extends out from the flat area and is supported over the river a ways. You could actually get under the mill if you wanted to.
Oh, I guess, yeah, I'll go for it, yeah. Yeah, probably would go under the mill.
Narniel, did you see Hampson?
So you go under the mill. Let's go back to everybody else. So Trask's up in the tree, told you what you saw. What is everybody else doing?
I'm traveling along the tree line and looking for an opening in the palisade on the sides.
Okay, so actually from your initial height, I would say that you would notice that there are a couple of places. I need to bring the picture back up for myself as well.
Yeah, I have it.
There it is. Probably it looks like there might be some damage to the palisade in the back corner that is kind of behind where the stable and the workshop is.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of the palisade looks pretty secure.
Then
sturdy, I should say.
I will go to that damaged area and try to see if I can get in through there.
Oh, you're just gonna leave Araniel and Narniel and Shadon and head in?
Well, one already left us, so why not?
That's true.
I am telling them that I'm gonna try to get a.
Okay, so you're gonna tell them.
The two that are with me still, yeah.
3. You got 3 people with you, but yeah, okay.
Oh, well, Two that are actually talking. One is just following like a zombie somehow.
She's here.
No. Narniel and Iraniel, they are the Rangers of the North. They are the ones who are equipped to tell us how to approach this.
Yeah, I'm telling them that I found a weakness in the palisades. I'm going to try to get through there.
And from the size of the damage, you would guess it might be a little bit too small for someone as well built as the sisters, because the sisters they're larger than the two elves. We should be clear about that. Like, A, they're already men, the race of men. They're not men, you know what I mean. And B, like, they're Dunedain. Like, they're big. Like, they are muscular, they are tall.
Yeah.
Our elves are not necessarily quite tall, but very, very lithe.
Then I would go. I found a location that I could enter. Shaden, you might be able to go through as well.
Yeah, Brian and she's going to kill you for that description.
You two are.
They're powerful. The Rangers of the North are powerful compared to normal men.
Yeah.
So that break in the palisade, it wasn't made by a troll. It was something smaller.
Can't see it from this side if it's broken by a troll or.
That's actually an astute observation.
But I would say from this distance, I wouldn't be able to see what broke it. I only saw it's broken a bit. But unless you say Middle-earth elves have the ability to see, I don't know, kilometers.
No, I mean, it looks damaged, so you don't know what broke it, but it looks damaged.
Yeah.
And it looks like there's some kind of a breach, right? You would guess at the distance you were seeing with I mean, you can see fine detail at a distance better than men.
True.
But not perfectly. So
I wouldn't say
without getting closer, you would say it looks like it was intentionally damaged, but you're not sure by what.
Oh.
Yeah.
And also Traston did not see Master Hamson at any point as you were surveying the scene. So Hamson's under. Traston is now, at this point, he's informed the two of you. Are you then going to start moving?
Well, Traston, I've read a lot about combats and skirmishes and wars and you know, it's often the tactic of a defender to expose a weakness in their defenses that would lure the attackers to come and try to invade by.
Wow. Role-playing that battle skill, I love it.
That might just, you know, be a funnel for where they want us to come through.
I don't think the book The Art of War exists in this world, so...
Oh, I've read a lot. Spent a lot of time.
There are certainly books written by elves that deal with warfare.
Oh yeah.
Especially after the Second Age.
And where's Hamson? I'm getting worried. Did he Did he go off for second breakfast without telling us?
He mentioned something about getting close to the door. I think at this point Iraniel would be getting a bit flustered, like where is he, and trying to actually find him.
Okay.
Probably doing something stupid.
So
I think Iraniel more than Narniel.
Without telling us and getting himself killed.
Yeah.
Let's figure out what we're doing here. So Traston is going to approach. Hamson has already gone underneath the mill.
Yeah.
What are Shadan, Iraniel, and Narniel doing? Traston is approaching from the upper part, right? Heading towards that breach. Okay. So I'm definitely going to need a stealth roll from you.
I can do that.
We can't try on that. Okay, so Hampson's here. Well, my thought is, how well built? You said that watchtower was kind of, was it rickety?
It doesn't look the same quality as the construction of the rest of the buildings. No.
I have a great success for my stealth roll.
And it's right next to the entrance.
Yes, and it is definitely in a position to overlook the whole yard as well as a large amount of the cleared area. Interestingly enough, though, it doesn't have a sight line to the direction that Traston is coming from, or at least not a good one. So,
okay.
Narniel, do you need my bow or my sword for this one? And if bow, where should I be? I'm looking around. I don't see any.
My initial thought is we need to take the tower out.
does Narniel have battle? I know Shadon does.
Yes, I think I actually... Yes, I don't have it ticked, but I have points in battle.
Okay, and Shadon has battle as well? Somewhat? Or was I thinking of Narniel, who's the battle
I think probably you're thinking of Narniel. I mean, I've read a lot of books.
Okay, fair enough. So, go ahead and make a battle roll for me.
Yeah.
In order to find a position for Iraniel and Shadon to be able to lay down fire on the compound. Holy cow. Okay, so you actually spot, as you're kind of looking at everything and maybe getting a little bit flustered with Hamson disappearing, and now Traston just went off and literally disappeared into the forest.
Wow.
Maybe you're getting a little flustered, but as you're scanning the surroundings, you actually do see a rise kind of concealed in trees, kind of off to, if you're looking at the map, kind of to the northwest, right edge of the tree line. And that would be a perfect place for Shadon and Iraniel to set up if you want them to be able to provide cover fire. And both of them have bows that are able to make that distance.
Yeah.
In fact, they would have such a good sight line into the compound that unless someone, I mean, they're not going to be able to deal with the watchtower because it's kind of armored isn't the right word, but it's screened, right?
Yeah.
Like they're essentially like slats and thing. You can't even arrows aren't going to penetrate that, right? Not like bullets would. But from the rise that you spot with that awesome battle roll, they will be able to take anything that's in the yard.
Okay.
At all. And because of that successful battle roll, if you do enter battle, Iraniel and Shadon will be able to stay in rearward stance and use their ranged attacks for the entire battle and not have to worry about anybody getting to them.
Nice.
If that's where Shadon was asking,
yeah,
you found a spot.
If you just need one bow person, then I'm happy to join you. I'm not very quiet, but I can try.
It's however you feel comfortable, Shadon. I know Iraniel is well equipped with a bow, and I know she will cover what I need. But it's
all right. Then I will join
how you feel more comfortable. My initial aim is to get into camp and attempt to bring down that tower. First off.
How? We don't have the horses, we don't have the rope to have them pull the slats that'll keep it running up. How do you want to take down the tower?
Traston said it was pretty rickety.
In my brain,
oh,
I'm going to chop it down.
I see.
That's my plan. Get in, sneak in, and literally chop down a support or something to bring it down.
Support. Well,
I would think if you are inside and you can get to the tower, it's just like a kick or a good strike with a sword and you can take it down. It's quite rickety.
All right, I will watch your back while you push the tower down. Just don't push it towards me.
Yeah, so we've got to now figure out how to get in.
Yeah, how are you going to get in? How are you going to approach?
It's going to be harder for us to sneak up the river.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, I think that's the way I want to, I want to go around the palisade that way.
From the front?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to get the most direct line to that tower and I need to get that out as soon as possible.
All right.
So if the two want to be as stealthy as possible, your best bet is actually getting into the water.
Yeah. Okay.
Now it's going to waterlog you a little bit. But if I'll give you a bonus die to your stealth checks if you get into the water and kind of, not like you don't have to, pull reeds out and make straws to breathe through, but like if you can get down below the bank and approach, and this is a good distance down, right? Because you got to remember that watchtower is there.
Yeah.
You should be able to approach.
I think you'd be a lot better off trying to sneak through the water without me. It's not unusual for me to be traveling around and going from different places. I think I'll just, quietly go up and follow that breach in the palisade. That might be better. And you know what? If I'm not that quiet, it'll just distract them from your activities, and that's not a bad thing.
That's a good point.
Okay, Shadon, you do. You know what fits you best.
Okay. So let's get a stealth check from Shadon.
Okay. I think I was
You
pretty
spend
clear.
You were. Wow.
You can spend hope.
How can you roll 0? What?
Because I'm not.
He has 0 success dice.
Yes,
Oh, okay, right. That's what that is.
I'm happy with Plan B, decoy.
Okay.
Shadon.
All right.
Okay.
So I also need a stealth check from Narniel then, if you're going to approach in the stream.
Yep. Stealth check. Okay, and did you say an extra die?
Yeah, you get a bonus die.
Yeah.
But you're also going to give yourself 2 points of fatigue.
Okay.
Or no, I'm sorry, not 2. That's mean. 1 point of fatigue because you're waterlogged.
Oh yes, and because of our rest the night before, we reduced from previous fatigue and shadow.
Not shadow, but fatigue, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Shadow only goes away during fellowship phases.
Okay.
All right. So success, good. All right. So this is what happens. Well, first of all, we're gonna jump back to Hamson. Hamson is under the mill. You can definitely tell that the smell is coming from inside the mill.
Okay, I'm looking for a way up into the mill, but I'm doing it as quietly as I can.
So what you discover going underneath is that there is kind of a runoff kind of area that you would be able to fit through. Maybe it's just, the stonework of the foundation has been cracked or waterlogged over time, but you're able to get in, and there is kind of a damp, moist cellar type area. It does have a trap door that you can see with the light filtering in from both the gap at the riverbank that you came into, but also there's light filtering down from above because the wooden floorboards are, there's gaps here and there.
Okay.
So yeah, there is a trap door. What do you want to do about that?
I'm going to try and slowly just lift it up just so I can peek in.
Okay. So peeking up, what you can see is that there are a couple of different stacks of finished lumber. One stack is much larger than the other. It looks like they've been there for a while. These don't look like freshly hewn boards. What you also see is there is a kind of a brownish stain that is kind of spilling down over the sides of the saw mill. So the platform that the saw is on, that they would normally put the logs on and kind of run through the saw, there's kind of a brownish stain that is kind of spilled over both sides of it, about where the saw is. And
Can I hear anyone?
You can't. And at this point, you can also hear voices. It sounds like they're up on the second floor.
So no one I can hear on this floor?
No.
Okay. I am going to sneak in to the lower bottom area of the mill. Kind of close it down behind me and start sneaking.
Hopefully not actually whistling.
Well, this is Hampton.
You know how to be sneaky.
I know how to sneak very well. And yes.
Traston, you do find that you're able to get in through the breach in the back wall.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to go from there? You see the backs of the stable and the workshop.
I'm gonna, while I'm walking back, if I'm on the back of the buildings, I want to listen if I hear voices inside buildings.
Okay, so you hear what sounds like a relatively gruff voice inside the workshop. It sounds like they're talking to themselves. Something about, it's not the right size, no, this doesn't work. Kind of muffled, right? Because these buildings are pretty well made. If you then also check the stable, it does sound like there's some animals in there.
Mm-hmm. Is there a way to look inside?
Not horses, I should say. Yeah, you can find a panel, I guess, that maybe is got a little, maybe the wood's not perfectly seated to each other anymore. You don't see horses. What it looks to you to be is it looks like there's literally boars in the stable. Like large ones.
And are there people?
No people.
And in the workshop, the guy that was grunting and everything, can I look in there?
No. The workshop doesn't have any windows. But you do hear like some tinking that sounds like maybe somebody hitting metal with a hammer or something like that. Alright, Shadon. You're approaching the breach. And Traston can hear you, FYI.
Alright.
Maybe you're muttering to yourself, maybe you forgot that you were sneaking, or maybe you... It doesn't make sense to have an elf trip over something. Because elves are more graceful than that. But maybe you just... Go ahead.
Contemplating, and you know, these palisades are really not built very well. This isn't impressive. There's no knowledge on building to be, you know, sought after here. This is very crude.
They're not bad for the works of men, really. You know.
Yeah, but look,
so
it's
maybe
not maintained. They have this breach there. It's you know, maybe this was well built by men many years ago, but clearly this is unmaintained.
So as Shadon is approaching, Traston actually hears the sound and the voice in the workshop stop. And depending upon where you are, you hear the door to the workshop open. And then we go to Narniel. Narniel is approaching in the stream. You get up to the edge of the palisade with no troubles.
Nice.
And you can... at any moment you feel the need, pull yourself out of the stream and charge that palisade or that watchtower. You feel like you might actually be able... What's your might? What's your strength? your base rating?
Oh, strength. The base rating 6.
Yeah, so you're pretty sure of yourself, and you feel like you could shoulder charge one of the supports of that thing and bring it down.
Yeah, I think it's one of them. As soon as I'm round and I can't see anyone near, albeit even if it's my own, because I know because we know Traston was further on the other side. We were not able to even see where Hampson went, but we trust that he's sneaky somewhere. So yeah, as soon as I see nobody's around, I'm gonna take it down.
Okay, so lots of things are going to happen at the same time.
Hampson's in the kitchen.
Lots of things are going to happen at the same time. Let's go with Hampson first, and then I'll work through all of you. This is all happening simultaneously. What is Hampson doing now that he's in the main floor of the mill?
I'm looking around to see what's cooking and to see if I can spot who is actually in here. So I'm looking for evidence of, is it humans? Is it something monstrous?
So you see the ladder in the corner, right? That heads up to the second floor.
Yep.
And as you're looking around, what you actually see is the floor of the mill has some like chalk markings on it, in different colors, kind of drawn, maybe some stick figures, and then as you're kind of looking at that and you look over to the side, you also notice what appears to be a small doll that is maybe made out of leather or fabric and stuffed with something. It looks to be a doll of, like, a farmer's child. And you hear giggling from above.
Okay, I'm going to start climbing up the ladder.
Okay, as you start climbing up the ladder, you hear, "Hey!" a loud, gruff yell from outside. So then we switch over to Shadon. Shadon has now reached the breach in the fence, and as you're looking through the breach, and depending upon where Traston is, you see a squat, kind of wide form with bright red hair and a huge beard, looking right at you as you peek through the hole. "Hey, what are you doing here?" And Traston, you see a dwarf that is looking at the breach, looking at Shadon, who is looking at the dwarf. Hampson, as you reach the top of the ladder and you peek into the room, you see like 12, maybe 13 children that are eating out of little bowls. They look well clothed. In fact, you would guess that those clothing were probably made by a dwarf. And they are, a couple of them are reading from small books. And there is a roast, not pig, not boar, but some kind of a weird, I don't know, if like a warg was a pig, you know what I'm saying? Like a warg isn't a wolf.
Yeah.
And this isn't a boar or a pig, but it's like them. And at that instant, you hear a child's scream from the front of the sawmill, and a great crash as Narniel shoulder checks the support of this watchtower and brings the whole thing collapsing down. And all the children turn and look at the ladder and see Hampson peeking up, and this dwarf sees Shadon.
I will smile. Hello.
Yes, I'm given to understand that this place was forcibly taken from the tree people. They kind of want it back.
Forcibly taken, it was empty.
Well, when did you arrive here?
Weeks ago.
Weeks ago? Well, don't you know that this place belonged to the people of the trees?
Why weren't they here?
They were forced out. Well,
Not by
I don't
me.
like talking between us in this fence, and it looks like something came crashing down, and I'm concerned about if anybody was in there and they may be hurt.
Okay, so let's move over to Narniel. So move over to Narniel. Narniel has just heard what is clearly a child's shriek as this watchtower comes falling down.
Oh, catch the child. Please catch the child.
Okay.
No, I mean, it's already fallen. And now that you're looking at the watchtower, it really does kind of look like almost like a treehouse made by children.
Oops.
We can still catch the child. We all know that children are slower than anyone else.
It's a good thing dwarven bones are dense and strong.
They're not dwarven children.
Yeah, who says these children are dwarven? Have you ever seen dwarven children?
Upon hearing the scream, I will instantly try and find it.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's not a big watchtower. You pull a couple of, like, slats aside, and yeah, you see a young girl laying there. She's got a couple of scratches on her, but she doesn't look horribly injured. I mean, the watchtower wasn't super tall. It's tall enough, but not super tall. Traston, you see this dwarf engaging with Shadon. Shadon, the dwarf, like, says, "You should have come to the gate, but come on. I knew I should have patched that hole."
Yeah.
What is that just came up over the top of your green screen? Is somebody trying to hand you something? There's a ghostly figure trying to hand you something over your green screen.
Yeah, well, Jake
Jake.
is no longer on the stream, so...
He muted himself. That's funny.
Yeah, sorry, that's the wife and the family.
No, it's great. I thought it was fantastic. I was like, oh, you have a ghost.
I do. Sorry.
So just as the crash and the child scream from outside and the dwarf shouting, and Hampson, you see all of these children. They look to be all fairly young, but not exactly the same age. And they certainly don't look like they're all from the same family.
After I said hello, do you know what made that big crashing noise?
It sounds like something fell down outside.
Why did something fall down?
They run to the windows, because there are windows on the upper floor.
I'll climb up and run to the window next to the kids. Look out.
And yeah, the rickety old watchtower that you just kind of briefly glanced at as you headed under the mill has crashed to the ground. You see Narniel ripping pieces of wood out of the way and then helping this young girl get up out of the wreckage.
At that point, I'm going to scream, "Oh my god, Erenial!" And I'm going to take off towards Erenial to make sure she's not firing her bow at any arrows at anybody.
Don't forget,
I'm just when I said I wasn't made for running, I'm now running.
Okay. So you run.
Hampson now because he's standing between children, so we don't know which one is Hampson now.
That's funny.
He's the one without a beard.
Yeah, you run towards Eraniel.
Yeah.
I don't know, waving or signaling in some way. And you see her. She's got an arrow knocked and the bow pulled back, ready. And when she sees you, she immediately eases the pull and pulls it and asks you what's going on. And yeah, so to cut a long story short, because we're now running right up against that 2-hour mark that we said we were going to hit.
Can I just say one thing to the kids?
Absolutely, please.
You know, big people, they always make such a mess, don't they?
And yeah, several of them are like, yeah.
I'll start handing out sweets and cakes from my pouches.
Of course you have in your pouches, yes.
Oh.
And they're like,
already.
oh, these are so good.
I wonder if that hurt Narniel's shoulder.
So yeah, we'll wrap it up there for today. But yeah, when we rejoin next week, you will then have to meet everyone and have a discussion about what's going on. But yeah, if you recall, the mill was lost to the people of Archit much longer than a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
So keep that in mind as we head into our next session next Friday. And I think we'll call it there for the day.